think I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary at BTN. And I just wanted to say that I really enjoy working with the team here. You guys are amazing. I sense like a family environment here. So I just wanted to thank Paul for starting BTN
2010.
Yeah.
No, it's been my pleasure.
Yeah.
It's been a group effort. It's not just, I came up with the concept and you guys ran it.
Yeah, and so I'm proud to be a part of BTN, and I spread the word whenever I can, and I hope you guys go visit our LinkedIn page and you see our announcements, and if you feel like there's anything that needs to be changed or updated or spruced up, let me know, because I want to spread the word about our group. And not that many people know about my background, or maybe you might have forgotten because it's been a long time, but just to give you a little background about me is that I'm the daughter of 2 people who immigrated from Hong Kong, and each of them worked 2 jobs to support my brother and me. So as the responsible older child, I decided that, okay, I'm going to do what my parents told me to do, right? Which is, you better be a doctor or a lawyer, attorney, or a CPA. So I said, okay, well, I think I'll just pick CPA then.
Short, right?
Yeah, CPA. Yeah,
Short
just
name.
So went to school, went to Cal State LA, which is just a few miles east of downtown LA, and let me back up even a little further. As I was born in Los Angeles, and just a few miles south of Dodger Stadium, and grew up in Alhambra. Went to Alhambra High School, and then moved on to Cal State LA to study accounting. And normally the career path, right, when you go get your accounting degree, is to get your CPA license. Well, I graduated in '91, right smack dab in the middle of the recession. So this is about the same time that the aerospace industry laid off their workers. So I was competing with very experienced people. I mean, if you're an employer, wouldn't you hire the more experienced people, but at a lower rate? So I was competing with that. So what I did was, instead of going the CPA route, because not many CPA firms were hiring, is I went to work as a temp. And so I got a job at Nestle, working in their accounting department, and it was a very good experience. And from that, I went on to work at Disney. I must have been there for about 3 years, and then I moved on to work at other jobs. I went to work at Aramark, and then I went to do some consulting work for like a British conglomerate, IMI, CCI. And what they do is they make valves. They make valves for nuclear companies. They work for different types of other energy companies, liquefied natural gas, that type of thing. And so what I did was, I just decided that, hey, working for a corporate client, you're not really making that much of a difference in people's lives. I prefer to work directly with people. And so, when I went to, when I did my last job, which was work for a commercial real estate company, I just decided that, it's time to really think about what to do, but I didn't know really what to do. So I took a break and started just volunteering. And I volunteered to work as a dog walker for an animal rescue in San Juan Capistrano, and they're called the Arc of San Juan. So I went from working as a dog walker to becoming a foster parent, and then eventually went on to become a board member and a president of the Arc of San Juan for 4 years. And I always joke with people and say, the only reason why I held that position was because no one else wanted to do that job. Because no one else wants to deal with crazy animal people. But I felt that it was a very rewarding experience, and I discovered a lot of things about myself that I didn't know. I didn't know I had it in me to roll with the punches like that. because you're not only dealing with volunteers, right, but you're also dealing with people who adopt pets, right? And at a moment's notice, some of them can just change their mind. Like they can bring a pet home one day and then the very next day say, oh, it's not working out, right? So you have to deal a lot with that. And, you know, we didn't work with a facility or anything like that. So it was a lot of coordination. So in 2018, I really had to think about, okay, well, what is it I want to do? So I had my insurance license and I also had my securities license. And by chance, I happened to meet Jonko Castro, who is Ben's and my business partner. And, you know, I think that I have found my home, right? Because their worldview is similar to mine in that we are helping an underserved part of the, you know, part of the community, which is small business owners as well as individuals, right? People who are working, right? They want to save for important things like buying a home, funding a child's education, or their retirement. So that's the thing that resonated with me. And you know, I'm just glad to be a part of QX Financial, and you know, Ben introduced me to you guys, and I feel like I've, you know, built some great friendships here. So one of the things that we are working on is we're helping people plan for life after retirement too. And so, you know, I just wanted to get to my next slide. So yeah, can we go to the first slide? And of course, I had to have a dog there because, you know, I love dogs. So in terms of retirement, I just want to take a quick poll. And when you guys think about the word retirement, what do you think? I'll start with Kevin. Kevin, what's one word that comes to mind when you think about retirement, or what do you envision for your retirement?
Financial security.
Yeah, exactly. And then Rick's gone. So how about Kyle? Oh,
Yeah, that's scary. But I mean, as you mentioned, I mean, freedom and being in a situation that you can do whatever you plan to do during your working, because you know you work for a long time, but at the end of the day you want to have a very peaceful life, so you need to save money, and to do the stuff that you like, you should have money in that age.
exactly. Yeah, I agree. How about you, Rick? What do you think about the word retirement? What does that mean to you?
Well, that means to me, I retired for 2 months and got pulled back into it. So it's all about, for me, it's all about enjoying life, traveling, working a little bit remotely back to California, but making memories. And in my last golden years, spending every last dollar until I only have $100 in the bank. Not taking it with me. And my kids are already set up with a life insurance policy, so I don't have to worry about that. So just living the dream, baby, living the dream.
That's right. That's right. Now what about Steve? What does retirement mean to you?
Health.
Okay.
That's my biggest concern. I never thought it would be an issue when I was younger, because I thought I was Iron Man. But I've had some health issues over the last few years as I've gotten older, and I never thought that this would be a problem. I was more concerned with being financially able to do what I want to do, but now I'm more concerned with, will I physically be able to do what I want to do? So,
yeah, that's an important point. And what about you? What do you think about retirement?
It's funny you say that, because I just retired from full-time employment with Epson. I worked for them for many years. By the way, I have a really big screen projector if you guys ever want me to bring that sometime.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's like hitting my stride. I want to have a combination of having my own business and then also having some time to do some things that I want to do more of. So I was going to say financial security, but today that's a little bit hard to say in today's market. So,
That's true. Yeah,
yeah.
it gets a little tricky, right? What do you think, Aaron? What is retirement?
I think this is my retirement. Working retirement, part-time. Ease up on the hours when I desire to. Oversight and accounting for the business, but essentially setting it up so it can provide
Good.
as I go to the golf course more often.
Yeah, exactly. Just ease right into it, right?
Yeah.
And then what about you?
I think more travel, less work. That's what I think of retirement. But I don't think I'll ever stop working because I like the contrast.
Yeah.
Between work and play.
But one of the big sales things I do to my clients when I speak of Paul is I tell him when he does travel, he works. So he can't stop.
Yeah,
Well, that's true.
and that's the thing about being a business owner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we
true.
have it in us. What about you here?
I don't use it.
Just keep going.
He's not retired.
He's not retiring.
Oh.
Yeah. But your wife might have different ideas.
Oh, yes, he does.
That's why, that's the reason.
Yeah.
work.
So what about you, Rafael?
For me, it's independence, and to do what I want to do. I probably decided to continue work because I like what I do, but don't have to work if I want. It's a good thing. And also, I always see my dad as a grandpa, wealthy grandpa with all the kids around. When you're wealthy, the kids are around, right?
Yeah.
So it is, right? So I want to be like that, to have something extra to call the attention of my grandchildren.
Yeah, that sounds like a good thing. So what about you, John?
For me, it's a real conflict because I can't really imagine ever stopping work. I just enjoy deal making, the grind, the help. But I also have, I'm very blessed. I don't deserve the blessings that I've been given. And so there's part of me that's called to just volunteer and help. And I feel guilty for not doing more of that because I have to work, right? So it's this real conflict inside of me. I'm still a little young for the whole retirement thing, but when I think of retirement, I think of fulfilling that burn inside of me to truly give back and help, not because it's convenient at work. Like I really want to help people, and I'm called to that, right? So it's a real conflict.
So you want to squeeze in some volunteer work?
Yeah, it's really time, but I think that's a shallow answer. But really, the time to be able to do those type of things versus maybe so many people depending on me from a business leadership and work crimes.
You know?
So listening to
Yeah.
everybody here, Steve touched on something that you're right, health, right? You want to be able to enjoy it. So it's a combination of things. Raphael touched on family. So I know as we get older, we have adult children, no marriages, no babies on the horizon, but we're looking forward to that at some point. So financial security, of course, you've got to be able to have money to pay for things, to have the freedom to go do things. So it's a whole combination of things. I will probably continue to work, but at my own terms, and ideally try to set something up so what I'm doing can continue with others. But it's kind of hard as a general contractor. You're kind of the one-man band, so to speak, really working towards building the business rather than working for the business.
Sounds good. And Tommy, what do you think about that?
Me, okay, I'll like I'll take a little bit of everyone. I like beat idea retirement. Here says he's not retired. So I guess I would compare a little bit of everything. So retirement for me is I will be able to do what I want to do without knowing whether or not I'm getting paid or not.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. You're enjoying it. You want to enjoy. You don't want to be forced to go and work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like whoever they do, and I don't care if they get paid or not. Still doing it.
Yeah, so yeah, it's good that you love your work. Yes, Steve touched on something very important about health, right? I mean, to me, you look really young, and you know, I actually ran into a health issue just like you did, and I didn't think that I would be so dependent on other people, and it bummed me out. So I'm like, okay, well, what's going to happen when my parents or brother aren't around, right? Then it's all just me, so I need to make arrangements, right? So you know, that's why I wanted to bring up the importance of arranging for your long-term care, is that you have different options, okay? But, you know, just to take a look at the landscape that we're operating in, we're actually running into workforce shortages in terms of like healthcare professionals. We are coming up against a shortage of 1.4 million nurses. Is what's happening. And so what does that mean for us is that the cost of care could also go up. Right? So we need to recruit, we need to encourage people to go into those professions. And you know, there's an increase in the aging population, right? Because in addition to the baby boomers, you've got all the Gen Xers who are going to be joining them. So yeah, we can go to the next slide. Yeah, and just to let you know what's happening is that the average lifespan in the US today for a man and a woman, so a man average lifespan would be 78 years old, right? For a woman, that'd be 81. And if you're blessed enough to be 85, an 85-year-old man or woman, you could live till you're 91 or 92. And you know, one thing is for sure is that people over the age of 65, 70% of those people are going to require some type of long-term care at some point. So, and we can go to the next slide. And so what do I mean by long-term care? Well, if you can't perform any of these 6, right, which is bathing yourself, dressing yourself, being able to eat without assistance, right? Continence and toileting and transferring. So let me explain continence. Continence is, you know, being able to control your bladder and bowel movements, right? And toileting is being able to use a toilet without assistance. And then transferring is when you can get out of bed to, you know, maybe a walker or a wheelchair or just get up and walk. So that's what transferring is. Yeah. So eating is important. Yeah, some people.
No drinking.
Well, it's all part of that. Yeah, I mean, if you can eat, you can drink. Yeah. So
I get power eating.
yeah. All right. So we can go to the next slide. And you know, so basically, there are 3 types of ways to fund your long-term care costs. Right. First is to self-fund. Right. And the second way is you can also go through what is called traditional long-term care policies, and those have been sold for decades, I guess, like since the 80s, and they're more of an expense. Like you pay the premium, and you don't really get anything. It's kind of like car insurance, where you just pay it and it's gone. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? And then there's like a third option, which is the hybrid option, and yeah, Ben and I work in that sphere. Is that you have, what hybrid means is you're using a life insurance component as well as a rider, right, for the continuation of long-term care. So, you know, basically you would spend down that life insurance portion, right? And then if you need additional care or continuation of care, you would activate that rider. So just to give you a clue as to what those costs look like. So you see the longest bar there, that is that longest bar is for a 65-year-old. Is they could incur up to $726,000 over their lifetime on long-term care costs. And for a 50-year-old, it would be about half of that. So that's, you see how staggering that could be, $765,000 to self-fund some care. this is in the most extreme case, of course. But if you were to use a traditional long-term care solution, right, you could really minimize those costs. You could shift the risk of covering those costs by using traditional long-term care insurance. And then the hybrid option is a nice option to have. You could decrease your expenses even more. And if you don't use it, at least you have that life insurance component that you can, pass on to your beneficiaries.
Just a quick question for you. So long-term care, is that really like an in-house supplemental solution? Or is that like a nursing home solution? And is there caps on the amount of money, or if you go into a care facility, like how does that?
Yeah, so long-term care, that would cover the 4 different options, right? So it would cover the in-home care,
Yeah,
as you mentioned, and then, could be like adult daycare,
yeah,
right? Or it could be a skilled nursing facility.
yeah,
Or, another type of
Or
service.
I think,
Assisted living, yeah.
And
in
did
long-term
these-
care, you can people to have you stay at home and have
Correct,
somebody go
that's
to your
the
home.
in-home care. that-
In-home care, yeah.
Paul was
I think
talking
that's what it's about.
but if you end up, let's say you go to a skilled nursing facility or whatever, is there a cap on the policies for, hey, we'll cover that for a year, or how does it work?
Yeah.
It's
and-
not like forever,
Exactly.
because it's
Well,
super expensive.
in some particular, there have been extreme cases where somebody, they're lucky enough to live a long time,
Yeah,
but the insurance company had to keep paying, right? They were on the hook for that person.
for whatever the
Yeah, for
policy
whatever the
says.
reason. Yeah,
Yeah.
for whatever the policy says. But yeah, there are some caps, right? That's what.
Like any other policy, right?
Correct.
Just
You
look at what you
select-
know what you're getting.
Yeah, you design it with your professional, with your
Yeah.
insurance professional.
Right.
That you can dictate, well, hey, I want the premiums to be on the lower side, so yeah, you can set the cap
caps,
here,
yeah.
right?
Okay. Sure.
So it depends on what you envision.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Good
long-term
to
care
know.
is you want to buy it because you don't want to go to nursing home. Nursing home is free, right?
No.
Oh, no.
Well, once you blow through all your money, and now you're down to like,
No free lunch.
Yeah.
now you're down to Medicaid, then maybe, but it's not a place that you want to stay.
So you have to, but you pay less in the nursing home than you stay at home.
Oh, no.
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 Same thing.
What age range of client are you speaking to today?
Anyone,
the room.
that's true.
50s and 60s.
Yeah.
A lot of gray hair in the yard.
Yeah, anywhere from 40s to 40s on up. And I think the age range for asset-based is like 80. And then after that, you would want to look into annuity-based long-term care, right? So someone over 85 might want to look into annuity-based long-term care, but it would be, it'd take more to fund it. That's all.
Yeah, no, I think Johnny also asked that, what is the age of people are hiring your insurance? And what part of the life they're starting to do what you offer?
Are we better to refer people like us, or are we better to refer
Yeah.
our in-laws' parents?
It would be, both, because the amount of people under 65 who need long-term care, 45% of the people who needed long-term care were under the age of 65. So is that crazy?
It is.
I never
crazy.
thought that at all. I thought, that's for later.
It's like
not for
45% of people who end up getting long-term care are under 65.
Is
But
that-
isn't that the right thing to do? Is that the name, long-term care?
Yeah, long-term care.
We don't do that, but I think if you could do that, it would be better, right?
Right. And if you could start at an earlier
Earlier.
age, at least you can, fund it earlier at a lower, at a lower premium.
So I'm having trouble getting my head around this. So 45% of the people right now in long-term care are
Under-
65
yeah.
and under.
Under the age of 65.
Because they probably die off.
Long-term care.
just health issues for people
My-
under 65.
My
Yeah.
son, I have a little experience in this long-term care, being that my father-in-law is in long-term care. We have a full-time nurse with him. He's 85. But my son is becoming a PA and he has to get experience doing this, and he works in a long-term care facility.
Yeah.
He's a CNA, which is a nursing assistant,
Oh, wow.
and he's going to school to be a PA. But the range, long-term care could be 25. He's got 25-year-old patients
Yep.
that are in long-term care. And it could be because of a car accident. They could have gotten shot.
Yeah.
They could have gotten COVID and got sick, or like anything could happen. They could have a stroke. I mean, he has a lot of young patients. It's amazing. Like 40 years old is pretty standard in his
Yeah.
thing. It's like, wow.
You would think that that's not
Yeah.
normally an age you would associate with
Yeah.
needing long-term care.
He works in Long Beach, so there's actually a lot of shootings and there's a lot of not shotgun, but
Uh-huh.
shooting
Injuries.
injuries.
Yeah.
And that they got paralysis, they can't breathe, they're on this, and you never think about those things when you hear about these gang-related shootings, but a lot of them live and they're in these long
Planning.
Yeah.
And car accidents are a big one too. Car accidents.
Yeah, but I think we have to be realistic, 40%, that means if you want to be realistic, there's 10 of us here. So 4 of us will end up. I mean, realistic, but you never know when that will hit us. So I don't want to scare you. That's reality.
I'm not that good at
We need more referrals. We need to get the referrals out.
Yeah, but, it's a topic that I think we should be aware of, right?
Thanks, Sonya.
Yeah,
No,
I didn't mean to suck the air out of the room, but.
No, but I
it's-
think when you see a parent go through that,
Yeah,
then oh my God, there somehow this has to be paid for, right?
Yeah.
It's either gonna come out of their assets, my assets, long-term care.
Yeah.
Right, it has to happen.
it has to happen. I mean, before when we were way younger, we thought, oh, that's something that happens to somebody else.
Right.
But then my grandmother in her last year of life had dementia.
Yeah.
And I think my aunts and my mom had to go through like 6 different caretakers. They just couldn't handle it because she didn't sleep.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so at least my grandma was lucky if she had 4 kids to basically spread out the financial burden as well as the physical burden. So,
Yeah.
but some of us aren't so lucky. We don't have kids, or maybe our kids just aren't in a position to
Right.
help us.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you don't want to. You want them to live. You don't want them to be like, all right.
Exactly. So, that's why you have tools to
Yeah.
handle that, to alleviate that.
Makes sense.
Sonia, I think you forgot because I reported the long-term care, but at the time I wrote the policy,
Yeah,
the agent told me it's just like life insurance. The sooner you bought it, the cheaper it will be. Right? Is that correct?
yeah, there's some element of truth to that, but it also depends on your health too.
Right.
So it's your health and your age.
Well, actually, when you're younger, your health will be better.
You would think, yeah,
Almost, I mean,
yeah, statistically speaking, yes,
So it's basically underwritten like a life insurance policy.
yes.
And they make you go do a physical.
They make you do a physical, although they try to do accelerated underwriting. So if you don't have, certain medical conditions, right, and you're under the age of 60, they try to do accelerated underwriting. like a telephone.
but when you buy it and your health become deteriorate, they cannot deny it. Right?
Right, once you're approved, once the policy has been issued, yeah, they can't.
And you
deny it.
can go for it.
Let it ride.
Yeah, let it ride.
So you can party and drink.
Get tested on Wednesday.
Donuts
so-
every day.
you know, Get tested on Wednesday, so your blood is clear. Not Monday, right? Still.
Yeah,
You can party all day long,
Yeah.
drink and drink to get your money worth.
probably. Do you guys have any questions? The people on the Zoom meeting?
Have to go first.
And then Rick.
Okay,
Sonia,
yeah,
We need to run a business.
yeah, we do.
only has been the in-home.
Yeah.
home.
In home care, yeah,
I read that there's some programs finance ADUs just for that purpose.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, what a way to swing that in there.
No, because part of the good thing, you have a house house just for the
Oh,
caregiver.
yeah, exactly.
Very nice.
But it has to be the design according with the wheelchairs and there's all the restriction.
Handicap
ADA
access,
stuff.
You brought up an important point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should
It's
talk about
something that we might
that. Yeah, we should talk about that. Thank
have in
you.
common.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
my father-in-law, this is recent, 6 months maybe, we finally got him in-home care and we had to give up one of their bedrooms.
The kids.
Well, there was a bedroom in the house that, so now they don't, she lives there full-time with them.
Oh, okay.
And so like an ADU would have been better, right?
Yeah.
I definitely would have been better.
That's true.
So, yeah.
I'm doing one in Dustin for a retired doctor, 83 years old.
Yeah.
She live very wealthy, big house. She's putting an ADU next to the house.
For
That's a
herself,
great idea.
for her medical.
No, she's not saying that. She's saying for the kids, but
Oh.
Of course.
That's ideal. Yeah. That's
Gives
ideal.
you options.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them to Ben or me.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.